Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Ah! Mostly.
I don't know. Do you ever watch a movie and just think like, wow, they made some interesting decisions in this movie?
Many
A lot of interesting
choices.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I would have made.
If I was the
But they
director of
did.
this movie, I would not make any of the choices they made in this movie. I mean, some, maybe the horror elements, that's about it.
I might make some, but there's just a lot. I don't know. They went there.
There's a lot of weird shit in this movie. Like, things just happen for no reason, it seems like.
Without,
Any
context.
any context, like, we'll get into it, but like
There's still,
a few characters like go baddie for no reason.
There's still, a whole, a whole stretch of the movie where, people make some sort of weird-ass conclusion, and I'm still not sure what the fuck happened at all. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to all of that.
So, for anyone who likes worms,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna see a lot of them in this
Worm
movie.
people.
Wormies, wormy worms.
Okay, wormies. Okay.
Now, what do worms like to do? They like to squirm.
Fuck you. You know what worms like to do, Will? They like to fucking roar.
Like, they like to roar and have pincers.
And fucking dig themselves in some dude's face and turn him into a worm man.
But only one dude's face.
Only one, yeah. Not anybody else.
No.
Just one. Because he was chosen.
He was the chosen one.
And he may have fucked around with someone's skeleton. But again, I literally don't fucking know.
Yeah. Still a mystery on that one.
It's a big mystery.
Verdict is out.
Yeah, no, it's the jury's.
He's just a Goomba.
It's a hung jury. Okay.
He's just a Goomba that got infected by a bunch of worms and then nothing happens.
He also may have moved a skeleton into a van and did a thing.
But that's the biggest
But
loophole.
why?
That's the biggest loophole of the whole movie. So there you go.
It's not a loophole. It's more.
I mean, not
that-
loophole. I mean the plot hole.
It's more
Excuse
that
me.
they say it as if it's a thing that we're supposed to
Care about.
Be like, oh yeah. But instead, when they say it, we're just like, what?
I was like,
What?
What? I was confused.
I'm
but-
still confused because they just do that, and then a tree falls on a house and everything's fine.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, actually.
Well, yeah, that's when because
Shit got real.
then we forget about that dumb segue.
Yeah.
And then the mom loses it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So tonight we watched Squirm, a worm creature feature.
Yeah.
Now I'll admit,
Last time was Grizzly.
from like 76 this is probably the best and only insect movie.
That's a very high standard. Will.
Yeah.
It's the only insect movie from this fucking year that we watched. But
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
So I
don't
can
think
say
worms are
that
typically insects, but that's fine.
worms aren't insects, but
I think you have to have feet.
yeah, I think so.
You fuck.
But
Fucked
it's like
up.
the like gross shit.
I was just gonna say animal attack shit, and if that's the case, it's the second one. Unless I'm fucking losing my mind.
But yeah, Grizzly.
Yeah.
I
I was hoping I'd like this more than Grizzly.
I mean, Grizzly is a movie.
But here's the thing: Grizzly made less weird choices.
It's true. Grizzly, at least made sense throughout the whole movie.
Oh!
I know, what a concept.
It's weird because I think Grizzly made more sense.
Grizzly kept its footing more
Yeah.
than this movie.
Whereas this movie had better individual moments.
I would say the horror elements in this
But-
movie are better, but as a whole, Grizzly kept its footing. Like, it kept its hold better Like,
Yes.
it stuck together better than
Yes.
this movie. Because, my God, the pacing in this movie is fucking weird as shit.
It's not the pacing that's a problem. It's the things outside of those horror elements.
Yeah.
It's the plot.
Like, I guess you
you
could
will.
say, maybe, yeah, sorry, not pacing, but the elements.
The
that
plot.
The elements of this film that make
You
it
know.
a film.
The writing.
Well, I mean, that's ultimately what it boils
The
down
writing.
to. Because I don't know what the fuck this... Because this guy directed and wrote it, so apparently he should not be fucking writing anything anymore.
I don't know. There's people who like this movie.
There are.
And not a lot of people. It does have a very low rating. It's on this fucking podcast for a reason.
Right. Like, we're not going to review a good... Like, a commonly known good movie.
But there are people who give this movie high marks, and I wish... Oh, how I wish that was me.
Spoiler alert, we're not going to give it high marks. So,
We're not,
so
even with our low standards.
should we go into it?
Yeah.
All right. So we get a disclaimer.
That on this day,
In
this city,
1975,
this thing
a
happened.
huge storm happened. Lightning struck a power pole
And shit
and
happened.
then electrocuted the ground and made worms all act. Oh no, sorry, I didn't say that. Sorry, my bad. Spoiler alert. My bad. So
It just
it
says
says
that-
like
Weird things happened.
weird things happen, and then after a disclaimer, so you think they're just gonna skip all that because they have already explained it. No, they just show it.
It's fine.
They show the town getting struck by lightning and
They show
a power thing, a miniature power tower goes over and fucking electrocutes the ground.
and it makes worms
And
come
we have a
out.
live wire just like going crazy on the ground.
And it makes worms
It makes worms go crazy and
They
squeal
scream.
like pigs for some reason. Now I don't know if you've ever like picked up a worm. If it squeals like a pig, you should probably be scared.
That would be very uncomfortable.
Now these are not your normal worms, because they do have teeth, and there are worms with teeth. But like your
It's a certain fucking species.
your normal garden variety worm is not gonna have teeth.
Because if they did, your normal garden worm isn't gonna work for this movie.
No,
So they need big
They
worms
needed,
with
like-
teeth.
sea worms or whatever
Yeah.
they were called. I don't know. I'm not an expert in worms, but they have teeth, and it looks like they have legs sometimes, which is weird.
Whatever.
But anyway, so yeah, it shows the town getting struck by this lightning storm,
And
and
that's
then we get a girl taking a shower.
And then she comes out of the shower. She doesn't like, her hair is completely dry, by the way. She
Yeah,
doesn't
she
actually
doesn't
wash her
even
hair.
wash her hair, but
It's
she
just washes everything else.
she comes out of the shower and like starts like looking at clothes and everything and deciding her outfit, like she's gonna impress someone.
And then there's this guy.
This grounds creeper.
Did you call him a grounds creeper?
Yes, grounds creeper. That's what he is, bro.
He's something.
He's creepy, and he's not a good actor either. But
Well, shocking, Will, because it's his only fucking movie
yep.
ever.
What's his name? Steven? Just what? I can't remember his name.
The character?
Yeah,
Roger.
Roger. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, he's picking.
Roger.
He's doing shit in like the garden, and he sees her from like the fucking chest up,
And she gets all freaked out.
and he kind of like grins at her because I guess he has the thing for her, and she goes.
She goes down. And they start talking about how
She starts talking
a guy is
to her mom, who has the greatest accent ever.
You ever watch those movies where like people have an accent and like it just keeps changing from like
It's not that it keeps changing; it's the fact that it's so exaggerated.
it is. It's very stereotypically southern.
I mean, like, the movie's-
like too. It's too.
It's like someone doing a joke.
It's too obvious. Like
Yeah,
it's not a natural accent.
because the movie's set in Georgia, and it's just so exaggerated.
Like all the other accents are fine,
Yeah,
except for the mom's. And I love it because sometimes her accent is like really strong and sometimes it's really light.
sometimes it slips out of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
But she just talks.
So they're talking about like they're just talking about stupid shit. I think she even mentions the guys coming.
Yeah, she does.
And like, so a guy's coming to meet her from New York because they've been. I don't know.
Well,
how
I
they
have
met each
no
other.
fucking clue.
I don't know how they know each other. I don't know anything.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They're pen pals. Let's just say they're pen pals. I have no idea. Fucking pen pals.
That's better than anything they gave us, which is nothing.
Fucking pen pals.
So, the sister comes down and she kind of teases her about how you're meeting a guy.
And
Penis.
she's like getting ready to go out with her friends, and
she goes. She's gonna borrow the grounds creeper's truck, and then he's like, I don't know, and she's like, please, and because he wants the poontang.
And he's like, okay, just be careful
careful
with it. I got a shipment in the back. A shipment of what, you might ask? It doesn't reveal it yet.
You will find out.
So she drives like a bat out of hell on the on the field and just barrels over hills
to meet the guy.
I just love it because he's like, please be careful with it, and then she's just like, just over like hills and shit. It's
well, they
hilarious.
don't even mention that. It doesn't matter. But we get this guy on a bus.
Yep.
And the bus stops because there's a branch on the road, and the bus driver is like,
a tiny little branch. There's a tree in the middle of the road.
There's a tree in the road. We can't go anywhere. And then the guy is like, oh, let me off. And then he gets one bag, and he gets another bag, and then another bag, and then a tennis racket, and a fishing pole, and a little handbag. And then he starts walking down the aisles and smacking everybody in the face.
You know what it reminded me of? Like, it's kind of a role reversal. See, they're progressive, because
the fuck are you talking about?
There's those movies where like the princess comes to like a place and she has all her luggage, and like the guy's annoyed because she has to carry all her luggage.
But no one's carrying his luggage.
I know he is, but like I'm just saying, maybe they're trying to play that.
No, you know what they're trying to play? Comedy. Get it? Because he has a lot of shit and he smacks people in the face with it. It's funny.
It's not funny though.
I know, Will. I'm laughing because it's so hysterical, Will. And then we get like shots of him smacking people with his fucking fishing pole.
He has a fishing pole.
I wish he'd take his fucking
a tennis racket, like 5 bags.
Who's he gonna play tennis with, Will?
5 bags strapped around him and a suitcase.
Who's he gonna play tennis with, Will?
No one, because it never. He like throws it away after, I guess.
I go to fucking Georgia to play tennis.
Yes, that's what I do.
The fishing pole I get.
Dude, this
is fishing.
This is a New Yorker. He doesn't know.
Will, the scene is dumb.
Yeah, dumb.
It's fucking dumb.
It's really dumb.
And they really thought this shit was funny. But whatever.
So he starts walking through the woods because.
And I swear to God, by the way, when he starts walking through the woods, he magically like loses like 2 bags. Because I think after they started filming this, they figured out that like it would be too fucking stupid to have him carry like 50 bags through the woods.
I think he also loses the tennis racket.
No, he still has it.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he loses after he gets to the house though.
Okay, I didn't notice.
Because there's no fucking tennis. I don't know. And he's walking, and he falls into like a
bog.
And the woman's there.
And she laughs, and then
So somehow, Will.
She knew where he was.
Because she was going to meet him.
Yes.
Somewhere. Let's presume the bus station. Because he's on the bus, right? Well, she knew that he would... that there would be a fucking, tree in the road, and he'd just do a fucking beeline across the forest.
Well, because the bus driver even said it would be quicker. Maybe she knew that the bus driver would send him that way.
But she's just, ha ha ha. And then they meet, and they get in the truck, and they drive.
Yep.
And she's like, it's worms.
Oh, it's a worm truck. That's why...
You're not scared of worms, are you? He's like, haha, I
am. So they go into town because she has to get ice.
Because the fridge is out, because there's no electricity. And she goes to get ice, and he
should also mention, for some reason, the electricity's out, but all the clocks stopped at the exact same time.
Yeah, everyone keeps asking what time it is because no one knows, because all the clocks are dead. She goes to get the ice.
And he goes into, like, a diner.
And
what does he call it? A lunchette?
He calls it that later. A lunchette, yeah.
A lunchette.
I've never fucking... whatever.
I've never heard that. I mean, maybe it's a word, but I've never fucking heard it in my life.
It's bullshit.
A lunchette?
It's bullshit.
A lunchette.
Well,
No one's ever like, hey, bro, I got this really good lunchette we should go to. Let's do
You know
it.
what I think, Will? I think they thought it was funny.
Just like they thought after this stupid scene, the thing he says in the truck before they head back to the house was funny.
It's all funny.
That beautiful pun he gives her.
To be fair, I get it. But there's another funny thing he says. So he goes to the lunchette and orders
An egg cream.
and the woman's
No,
like,
egg creams are an actual thing.
I know, but they had to do a thing, right? Because he orders and she's like, "What's an egg cream?" And he's like, "It's chocolate with milk
and sparkling
and spritzer
spritzer
and ice cream."
So it's chocolate spritzer and
Milk?
a little bit of milk to give it a head.
And ice cream, right?
No,
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 I don't know.
it's just chocolate, milk, and soda water.
Okay,
That's all it is.
He orders that, and she's like, "Okay."
She's like, you could have just called it whatever they call
also,
it.
the scene literally starts with the sheriff grab-assing the waitress, but whatever. And then,
So he starts to drink his egg cream, and then he notices something in it.
well, no, well,
Oh no, he takes a drink, and
here's
then
what happens. He takes a sip and just like drops it, and I'm like, what the hell? And then you see a worm,
he's like, "There's a worm in my egg cream,"
and
and she's like, "Why the hell would you put a worm in your egg cream?"
she's like, why would you do that?
"We don't play games here."
And I'm like, do what? Why would you do that? And then the sheriff's like, yeah, why would you do that? You think that's funny, city boy?
And the
I'm
guy's like, I didn't.
and I'm just like, what?
They just instantly start accusing him of doing it, even though literally he didn't do it.
Like, he carries a worm in his pocket so he can.
How would
fucking-
he have even done it? She was watching him the whole time.
Magic. I don't fucking know. It's retarded. Okay, it's
They
fucking stupid.
all start like fucking hating on him because he put the worm
like-
in the egg cream.
Okay, there is a funny line. Well, it's an okay line. I don't totally hate this line when he's like, what's your business here? It's like, I don't have business.
Only pleasure.
Hey, it's okay.
Yeah, because he's here to bone.
But then he fucks off.
Yeah.
And he gets in the and then
He gets in the truck, and
the
then
girl
the
has a
girl
giant
has a giant thing of ice.
and then she's
like, "You're gonna have to hold it," and then she sits it on his lap. He's like, "Ooh!"
because there's a giant slab of ice on his dick. I guess I don't fucking know.
And then like, what? Oh my god!
They
like,
start
she's like-
talking. He's like, everyone here is really weird.
She doesn't like. They don't really like Taurus, and he's like, "I'm not a Taurus. I'm a Libra."
Owned.
I think this is the point where I figured out that I did not like this fucking asshole of a guy. He's not really an asshole. I just don't like him.
Why?
I don't know.
Will,
He's just a dweeb.
did you forget about the
He's
magic?
he's a total dweebus, and I don't like him.
Did you forget about the goon face he made when she went to get the ice?
Yes,
He made that face
I know.
of like, I'm gonna get it.
I'm going fuck.
He doesn't.
He's a total Goomba. I don't like him.
Wow, Will. Such disrespect for the man who brought 50 briefcases.
So they go back to the farm and they see the guy fighting with his. Oh no! Sorry, no. Yeah,
No.
they go back and they're talking. You know, the guy meets the mom and the mom says to get him new clothes because he's all wet still. Blah blah blah.
And she gets him new clothes and shenanigans. And then they see the fucking. They're gonna go to some guy.
They're gonna go to this like antiquities dealer,
Antique dealer.
and he makes chairs.
And they're gonna go to him. They go outside.
And the worm guy's fighting with his dad.
And he's like, you can't do anything right. Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what's going on? And she's like, I told you to be careful. She's like, what's going on? The worms are gone. They're like, well, I don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know.
Yeah, right. You were the last ones to do it. He's like, and then the girl's like, well, you probably left the door open, and then all the worms, like, it shattered and stuff. And the dad's like, yeah, you probably did, you idiot.
You'd lose your head if it wasn't attached.
He's like,
to you.
I spent $300 on those worms, which, again, I don't get because they own the fucking worm farm.
It costs $300 to take a shovel
and
and
dig
dig
in
some
your own farm.
goddamn worms out of your own fucking ground, Will.
Apparently.
The shovel costs $300. I get it.
I don't.
It's a special
I
shovel
don't get it.
made out of fucking
This is the last thing I'll
gold.
say about this, but I don't get how it can cost $300 to dig your own fucking worms when you already own the farm.
You know why, Will?
He literally says those worms cost me $300.
You know why, Will? Because the movie needed a line where someone says, "This thing cost me
this
money.
much.
This thing, important thing, cost me money.
This is why I'm angry."
Thing cost money. I angry.
Me
Okay?
simple. Me angry. Me money like.
You lose my thing that cost me money. Anger. Very angry.
So anyway, they get over there and then they get to the Mr. Beardsley's, Barsleys. I don't.
They
know
just
his
get there
fucking
and
name.
no one's answering the door.
So they look around and then they find a skeleton in the backyard.
Which this will lead to the biggest plot hole, but whatever. It doesn't even matter in the end of the movie. But they look at it and they're like, let's get the sheriff.
And then they talk to the sheriff, and the sheriff's like, "Not you again. I don't like the cut of your jib or whatever."
And
like,
then he's like, there's a
"You
skeleton.
suck. You lied about that worm in your egg cream, and I fucking hate you.
You played a prank
I
with the
already
worm.
hate you. You fucking piece of shit."
City slicker.
I mean, I kind of agree with him. I don't like him either, but for different reasons. Not because he's an asshole, just because he's a dweebus.
No, Will, he plays pranks with worms.
Yes.
That's what he does. And they go and look at the skeleton, and there's no skeleton. And he
What?
tells them again, like, if I see you again, I'm going to do this bad thing to you. And you should know better. Your father would be so disappointed if he saw you like this, pretending to see skeletons.
So then they go back to the fucking girl's house, and the one guy starts talking to the sister while the sister
Oh!
gets high as fuck.
She starts smoking a joint.
Yeah, and she's like talking about how she goes down to Quigley's bar and like, like drinks with her friends because that's like the only thing to do in town. Like, it's a small town, and they're like fucking off. So then next scene. Oh, and there's like a foreshadowing scene where she falls in the steamer trunk.
She falls in the steamer truck because she's so high.
Yes.
And she also happens to have another joint.
So now we're back at Quigley. We're at not back. We're at Quigley's bar. You get to see Quigley's bar, and they're all just drinking, having a good time, and talking about like the electrical storm.
Well, he asks him like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm so fucking hold on."
He asks Quigley like
He asks, yeah, like
because Quigley knew Beardsley, Barnstable.
he knew him.
He knew
like,
this guy.
But Will, he's like, "You want antiques?
I got antiques.
And he bends down under the table
And comes up with this fucking makeshift scuba mask.
and he's like, "John Wayne."
John Wayne used this and blah blah blah, and then ding ding ding.
And they're like, "No, it's fine, it's okay."
And the girl's like, everyone around here is an antiquities dealer. Everyone wants to sell you their shit. See, this is where the movie starts losing me with scenes like this.
Why?
Because
It's so deep. It adds so much to the plot of
shut the
Worms.
fuck up, Will. Is what you're gonna say to me, right?
Is that the way? Is that how you save yourself?
Yeah,
You just told yourself to shut up.
I did.
Is that what this movie did to you?
Yeah,
You
it did.
fucking lost it.
I meant shut the fuck up, Alex. But
Stop talking to yourself, Will.
Sorry. God, Will, fucking idiot. God, stop fucking saying stuff about referring to yourself as a third person, Will.
If all else fails, we'll just say to yourself, "I'm not a tourist. I'm a Libra."
I'm not a Libra though.
You're a tourist?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be. I mean, in that context, I can't say I'm a Libra.
You got him.
I ain't a Libra. I'm a tourist.
Wow. I'm a worm.
The year of the worm.
I am the Worm King.
So, we get the Worm King. Don't worry.
I thought.
Well, yeah, me
They
too.
fucking limp dick that.
Yeah, they did. They limp dick the whole ending. So there you go. Oh, spoiler alert. Sorry.
We get eventually.
So they talk to Quigley. He doesn't really know anything because the guy hasn't been in the bar for a while, even though he's a regular. And they start.
He hasn't been in the bar
suspecting-
since the storm.
They start suspecting foul play.
But Roger's in the bar, and they talk to him, and
They say we're going fishing later.
you're invited for some
He's
reason.
like, when are you going? In an hour. Even though the girl doesn't really like him because he's the
creepy.
grounds creeper.
But she invites him anyway
And
because
so
I guess she assumes it because her other dick is gonna be there, that it'll be fine. I guess, maybe, whatever.
So then
But before they go,
it's lunchtime.
they look.
Just 1 minute. We're missing lunchtime. They talk about worms, and a worm crawls along the wall behind him.
Fuck that shit.
No, remember?
The only thing that happens in that scene is he tells her about the thing he had.
They have lunch.
No.
And he says her chicken salad, and she says
No.
it's her speciality.
No! Chicken salad!
And then a worm
He
crawls
eats-
across the fucking wall behind him.
No! That's not important. What's important is she asks him, what did you have in the lunchette? And he says,
There's an
I had
egg cream.
And she's like, what's that? And he says, it's like a chocolate. That's what he said.
It's like a chocolate.
It's like a chocolate.
It's like a chocolate.
That's it. I thought he'd get distracted by something. But no.
Next time someone asks me to describe something chocolatey, I'm just going to say it's like a chocolate.
Yeah. What's this? What's beer? Oh, it's like a bread. It's like a yeast.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like that's
Yeah.
a weird way to describe things.
Same with the egg cream,
Yeah.
Will.
I
It's
mean-
like a chocolate.
It's like a chocolate. All right.
A chocolate.
So they go to invest. They, for some reason, have a fixation on this worm truck. So they
They go
go
in
to
there.
investigate it.
And there's another skeleton like covered by a tarp.
And so the grounds creeper's dad is coming by,
And they hide.
and they hide the skeleton for some
Something.
fucking reason.
And then he like puts a thing in the truck and goes away. And then they're just like, whatever. They go fishing.
Yes.
They get in the boat, and the girl's like, I don't feel good about this. And he's like, it's gonna be okay.
Even though she's the one that invited him,
Yeah, I know, right? But now I guess she remembered
that he's creepy.
that it's a weirdo who wants to bone her.
Yeah, I
What-
guess.
I-
I don't fucking know. So maybe she felt bad. I have no idea.
So whatever. They get in the fucking boat.
And
There's
they-
a thing of worms.
And so the grounds creeper, he gives it to the grounds
No.
creeper, and
So
like
first-
they tell him to bait their lines for him, and the grounds creeper's like,
Well, 'cause-
no, I don't want to.
Well, because they gave it to the boyfriend. The boyfriend has the box. It's literally like a box of, by the way, like Chinese food.
Yeah.
They just put worms in. And he's like, okay. And then Alexei's like, actually, why don't you put the worm on?
You know what you're doing.
I don't want to, like, waste our time.
And the grounds creeper is like, no, I hate
Now, first, the
worms.
groundskeeper, like, takes it and, like, is just like, I'm not joking, like, literally, smile to frown. And just like, no, I can't.
I hate worms.
And he's like, but you have a worm farm. And then he tells him a story about how when he was like young, his dad decided to have some fucking an experiment where he took a thing, electrocuted the ground, and made worms come up, and they bit his thumb off.
Yeah.
Roger's thumb, because he shows him his hand and he has no thumb.
So they're baiting the worms on the fucking lines, and then the fucking
A worm bites our guy.
the hero's arm.
And the girl's like, oh, that's nothing. And then he shows her his arm, and she's like, I've never seen that. And he's like, well, I'm going to go.
They usually never cut the skin, and the guy's like, well, I'm gonna go. I need to get some rest, and
But that's not the only reason not to get some rest, because he wants to get a thing for his.
he says rest.
But that's not the thing.
But that's not the reason he's actually leaving. He just
He's
says
got
that.
he's got
He's got ulterior motives.
detective work. Will.
Yes.
The goofiest detective work. So he's like about to leave, and she's like, no, don't leave, because she knows what's gonna happen. But he goes anyway.
So they row him back to shore, and then they go back out fishing, and the worm box gets knocked over.
Not yet. Gets knocked over later.
No, it's like right before he finds the skull. Gets the skull.
Yeah. But it's when they're like about to go.
So our hero goes back to town. He goes immediately to the worm truck.
Goes in there, closes the door, lights a lighter, and starts investigating the skull.
And then he takes off the jaw and then detaches the skull from the spine.
And we're just like, what?
And that's when the worm thing gets
Yeah.
knocked over. It shows the worm like container getting
Yeah.
knocked over in the boat, so you know shit's about to go
Yeah.
down.
But he takes the skull, and I'm literally sitting there like, what the flying fuck are you doing?
He stuffs it in his shirt.
And then the sister comes, like, spooks him, and is like, what the hell is that? Why is there, like, what are you hiding? And he shows her the thing, and he's like, I think I know who this is. Or, like, I want to find out who this is. Like, that's what he says. And she's just like, can I come along? And she comes along. We get a scene of her, like almost tripping, because she's running in high heels for some fucking reason.
Yeah. So they're going somewhere, and then we get the woman and Roger back in the boat.
And he's, like, fishing with her, and he's, like, fucking basically dry humping her.
When she's like, I guess fine with that, but like, he's like, I got a surprise for you.
And she's like, what?
And then she
turns around, and he just, like,
starts trying to kiss her,
and then he's like,
on her.
It's him, isn't it? That's, like, city slicker outsider, isn't it?
If he comes near me again, I'm gonna sock him one.
I'll sock him in the liver, is what he says. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
he, like, starts kissing her, and she's like, she pushes him off, and he falls into the worms,
and they're all like on his face and everything.
And we see his face, and they're like pretty good effect. It's like they're like digging in to his like face. So you just see like them like crawling into his face, and there's
he's
like blood.
Like screaming, and like he gets angry, and then falls off the boat.
They both like fall out of the boat.
And then
you see more of the worms in his face, and then he runs away.
He runs away, and then the girl gets away too.
He runs away from his problems.
Yes.
And then
we get the guy going to a dentist. He starts knocking on the door.
No one's there.
So he sneaks in and looks up X-rays of the fucking skull.
That's the plan.
And it's Beersley.
Because the skull has the top 3 teeth missing, so he goes to find an X-ray that has the top 3 teeth missing.
Which, I'm sorry, in Georgia in the 1970s, wouldn't that be a common occurrence?
That's still a common occurrence. Don't let him tell you otherwise, Will.
Okay.
But not only that, is the kind of person who has 3 of their fucking teeth missing only on the top row.
Going to a dentist?
Yes.
No.
Exactly. But you know what? They really wanted this piece of detective work in the movie.
Yes.
I mean, I guess it's fine, but I'm just wondering, like, is that the first thing you think of?
A dentist? No.
Like, you find a skull? Is your first thought going to be, I need to take the skull, and I'm going to go to fucking dentist, and I'm going to see.
Dude, I've literally never seen a movie or a show that they go to a dentist first. You know what they do?
One dentist.
They go to a fucking, like, investigator that can
to be fair,
the skull.
He knows if he shows his face to the dude, he gonna die. Or something.
It's true, because he put a fucking worm in the egg cream.
Because somehow, when she had her eyes on him the whole time, he magically put a fucking worm in the egg cream so he could be like,
to fuck with her.
There's a worm in my egg cream.
Yeah.
It's a prank, bro. I don't know.
At the lunchette.
At the fucking lunchette. Garbage.
So, the woman gets home, and the mom's like, well, what happened, honey? And she's like, oh, I just fell in the river. I'm gonna go take a shower and, like, wash all this off me.
And she's in the shower, and
worms start coming through the little...
Well, she, like, turns on the water, and she's like...
And worms start, like, coming through the fucking spigots.
And they're about to fall, but then she turns off the shower,
and they go back in.
They go back in.
I love it, because then she comes back down, and she's like, well, oh no, she gets all freaked out because the mom's like kind of onto her, and then she's like, oh, well, I was just thinking that like the sister or whatever should make dinner.
No, you're missing a big chunk of this. The guy is home by now with the sister.
Right, yeah. Guy gets
and they
back
know
in.
the skull. And then he's like talking to her and all this stuff, like, what happened? Blah blah blah. And then out of nowhere, the sister's just like, hey, what do you want me to do with Mr. Beardsley's skull?
Yep.
And the sister is just like shocked, like, what the hell's going
fuck?
on? Why is this happening? And then the mom comes in.
This is the part.
Yeah.
I was skipping all of it because I love the mom. Just like, she comes in and she's like,
she sees them arguing.
yeah, what are you arguing about?
And she's like, oh, I think the sister should make dinner.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, well, since there's two hungry
hungry
men,
men.
I think it would be nice for you to make dinner. And then they're like, mom's freaking out. And this begins.
Like, even mom's freaking out. I'm like,
Will.
what?
The important part is, this begins the mom freaking out subplot, which comes out of nowhere
And goes nowhere?
and goes nowhere.
Yep.
Why is the mom freaking out, Will?
freaking out. I don't know.
I get it now. I get it. I figured it out.
What?
The mom is freaking out because there are two hungry dicks.
Hungry men.
Hungry beepuses.
She wants that, at least one of the hungry men.
No, Will. She just... The mom can't handle having more than one hungry dick in the vicinity of the house.
It's true.
So when there's two...
She goes crazy.
I guess. And starts staring at ceilings.
Yep.
And knitting.
Uncontrollably knitting.
Uncontrollable knitting occurs.
Yes.
Is that the symptom?
If you find your loved ones uncontrollably knitting,
There may be too many dicks around.
Seek out help. There might be too many men around.
Hungry dicks.
Hungry dicks
On
around.
the prowl.
Beepuses.
Fucking prowling around. And if your loved one starts uncontrollably knitting and staring at the fucking ceiling,
You got too much testosterone in that house.
that's it.
Okay.
Like, they're just like, I think mom's going crazy. And I'm just like, what? What?
Like, why?
She didn't do anything. She was just like, why are you arguing? Okay, you cook dinner. There's two hungry men. Like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's all she did. And they're just like, mom's losing it. Mom's going crazy. Like, movie? Excuse me?
Well, I love this next part because the woman and our hero go to the worm farm, and they like pull up, and this part's kind of creepy.
No, it's well done. Like,
So
the
they
guy
get-
goes to, he's like, stay here in the car. I'm gonna go investigate.
And the woman sees like in the rearview mirror like Roger,
You
all
see him
infected
like
by worms.
You see his like, he looks fucked up, to put it mildly.
This is where we thought he was the Worm King. This is where I was starting to begin to
Well, they
think he was.
kind of fucking.
They kind of like pander
There's
to that.
hints, vague hints.
They're kind of like, oh yeah, hey, like this guy could
Yeah.
be like king of the worms now.
or there's something special.
The worms accept him.
Or there's something special about him.
Yep.
But yeah, he like, you see him coming up in the rear view, and then when she turns around, he like quickly like ducks down and like disappears.
Yep.
And the guy keeps looking. He can't see anything, but then he sees like,
He sees the body, so he sees kind of feet sticking out,
and then he sees the old man, the dad.
and
He's
like,
dead.
and he's dead, and he's
He,
just
like-
laying in the ground.
He like, kind of like peeks down, I guess, to see if he's breathing or whatever. And you hear like, and then he looks, and he like kind of like rips his shirt open, and you see there's like worms like,
Everywhere, like just
Like, you
like
see,
making
like-
up his body.
yeah, you see
basically.
like exposed ribs with like the worms eating him essentially. And he runs back, tells her like what he saw.
And they have to go, and then they're like, we have to go tell the sheriff.
This.
Oh,
is-
oh my
Ooh.
God!
You know what this is?
Limp
This is a limp doodle.
spaghetti.
Limp Dixit.
This is
Okay? This
Limp
is bullshit.
Dixington
So, the sheriff and his hoe
are eating spaghetti.
in a fancy fucking like hoity-toity restaurant.
By the
and
way,
they're all,
the credits for her are literally sheriff's girl.
it should just say sheriff's hoe. But yeah, I know, in the credits just sheriff's girl. She says, like, I'm not joking, she has like
One line.
two lines.
Yeah.
And it's just, stop that. Stop doing that.
Yep.
We'll get to why. But in this scene, she's just like, nom, 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 nom.
And they're all talking and eating spaghetti, and it even goes as far as like to show close-ups
So,
of them slurping up spaghetti.
After they tell them, hey, we found another body, and we know who the skeleton was. And he's like, you have proof? Blah, blah, blah. And then he just kind of like, he says, yeah. And then he's like, okay. Like, there's, look at all this spaghetti.
It's gonna take us at least 15 to 20 minutes to eat
And
it.
I'll give you a 15-minute head start to get out of here. And then we see, like, close-up.
Slurp.
Oh, no, it's after they say, like, they mention the worm farm. And then we see, like, a close-up of them slurping the spaghetti. And I was just like,
Okay, now in a good horror movie, what would you show at this point?
not at this point. But
I
you
mean,
keep,
like at the end of this
you
scene,
keep building up, and then
Yes.
eventually,
you keep showing close-ups of slurping them slurping spaghetti.
eventually, they pick up a fucking worm, put it in their mouth, and they slurp a worm right into their goddamn mouth.
Like, you know, in The Hitcher when he's eating the fucking
The fries.
fries and then
he
picks up a finger. Imagine if he just kept eating fries.
Imagine if this was a good movie. Imagine if this was even a quarter as good as The Hitcher.
Yep.
Imagine what a wonderful world. But no, we can't have that. Instead, they show a close up of slurping and they make us think. They make us think that some horror shit's gonna happen in our horror movie.
But the hero and the woman just go out of the restaurant and nothing happens. Nothing. They don't slurp up a worm. Nothing happens.
Nothing.
Literally nothing happens.
They put that in there to fuck us.
So then they decide they're gonna go to Barnsley's I fucking
They go to
whatever
his house
his name
again
is.
for some reason,
And they look and they see like clothes.
and
then
they find his clothes.
Oh my god, this is the most fucking like crackpot like.
Well, I still don't know what the fuck any of this means.
Then they start like piecing it together and like.
So they go
okay.
to like his fucking, I don't even know, like
It's like a shed.
and the guy's like about to open it, and then he like decides not to open it, and then they're like, I think that Roger took the skeleton, and then they say some shit about Roger possibly taking the
He
skeleton,
like moved the body.
and that they murdered him because of his antiques, and they moved the body for
Some reason. I don't fucking know. So then they go to they go to dinner with the fucking family and they talk about it more. Like
why?
like Roger moved the bodies and like he like knew like Barnsley and like was gonna like
Sell
antiques and shit, like, you know, blah blah blah. But I ain't go in the shed. I didn't want to see what was in there.
That's good.
After all this investigation, he was like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to go in that shed."
Was he
Why?
assuming, like, what, was the shed going to be full of worms?
I don't know.
They don't explain shit.
Dude, I don't know why they didn't go in the shed. There's no reason to not go in that shed.
Because they figured it out. They figured out the scheme.
She even says, I don't want to know what was in that shed.
I want to know.
I do too.
Don't fucking limp dick this shit.
They did.
Also, I'm sorry, this whole segue happens, makes no sense, and disappears. Because when they're at dinner, the segue is interrupted by a fucking tree. Okay?
A real tree falls on top of a real house with real actors in it.
Here's the scene. Nyam, 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 nyam. And then we're like, oh no. And then literally just nyam, nyam, nyam.
Now, I will admit, this scene is fucking awesome. The tree falling scene is awesome.
It is.
Because they used the actual house, they used an actual tree, and they fucking dropped that fucker on through the house.
With the actors
With
in it.
real actors in the house. That is ballsy.
And you know why? You know why else I like this scene? Because it destroys the pointless bullshit segue of Barnsley and his shed and apparently his scheme of selling antiques.
Yes.
And how apparently this really triggered
Thank God for this tree.
Roger to pick up a skeleton, put it in his truck, and throw a tarp over it. Did he know that he was gonna eat what?
I don't.
Fuck it.
The tree squashed that, like it squashed
Thank
the house.
fucking God.
Okay.
They go outside.
The worms were our real saviors.
It's true. But they go outside. They look what's going on.
And it's true. And it's worms.
The worms did it.
And then the sun shines, and then
The guy goes to get gasoline because he's gonna light them on fire. And then he goes back, and they're gone. And he's like, "What's going on? I don't understand."
Where's that gasoline in the final scene?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't take it. Remember?
I know, but like, why wouldn't he like?
He leaves it. He leaves it in somewhere outside the house.
But why wouldn't he pick it up while coming back? I don't know.
Because it's covered in worms.
But okay, whatever.
It's fucking worms. That's your answer. That's the answer to life. Worms.
So
And
he's
then he's like,
so
he figures it out.
they're in the house.
No, so what happens
Oh
is
yeah, that's right. He figures out why
he
the
figures that out, that it's because the electricity doing the thing, and then because the sun came out, it scared them back. So he
Yes.
figures out it's light, and he has a plan. He's gonna go to the old
Well, he
mill.
wants to board up some of the
Yeah.
exposed areas so the worms don't get in.
So he wants to go to the fucking old mill, I guess.
Well, no. So he's like, I need to go find plywood for this. Do you know where there's any place around? And she's like, there's an old mill, that has a bunch of wood.
And he goes there, and after he goes there, we get the mom
Staring at a hole in the ceiling.
a tiny hole in the ceiling,
And she's just staring like blankly into it.
and the girl and the sister are just like, "Oh, mom's really freaking
And
out."
this is where she starts knitting uncontrollably too.
Knitting uncontrollably and staring at the hole. And then the sister goes to take a shower, turns on the water, nothing happens. She leaves,
She leaves the water on.
the quote unquote water on, and worms start coming out.
Yep.
We get the guy picking up a very lightweight,
Piece of plywood. And he's carrying it across in the woods, and he's struggling with it.
They
really went out of their way to show that this is a heavy piece of wood. It's this little tiny, thin piece of plywood.
We'll get to the biggest joke, because as he's carrying it, fucking Roger just goes out and
Worm face.
fucking picks him up like he's gonna tackle him like he's a fucking football player or some shit.
I love how he picks him up and he gently sets him on the ground, and
He
he
spins
rolls
him
down
around and then kind of awkwardly just drops him into this hole.
And then
And then he's
our hero's ankle is sprained.
And then he can't get out, and Roger says some nonsense about how now you'll be worm face.
And then he picks up the plywood and throws it into
and knocks him out.
and knocks out our hero. Our hero got knocked out by a thin-ass piece of plywood.
This shot is pathetic.
It's
a tiny piece of plywood that's just covering his face, and he's just limp.
lying down.
And then Roger also takes a tiny stick and kind of breaks it and throws it, and it just awkwardly smacks against the plywood, and it's just again limp dick body.
Now the next scene is really weird because the mom's still staring up, and now she's knitting, and
Even more uncontrollably.
and she already has almost a full blanket knitted. She's just knitting uncontrollably.
Well, she finishes her blanket later, Will.
And she's like, well, weren't you gonna go take a shower? Did you leave the water on? And the sister's
Oh yeah.
stares blankly at nothing, and it's like, oh yeah,
I did.
I need to go check that.
Because they hear noises.
Yeah. So she goes upstairs with a candle and starts walking towards the door, and then opens the door, and just a flood of worms come out of the door.
Pretty awesome.
And then
to be honest,
blank.
pretty awesome effect, honestly. Because yeah, she just opens the door and it's just a fucking the whole room is filled, and just imagine a whole fucking room of worms, and you open the door. That is exactly what you get.
So the hero, our hero,
Wakes up.
and he starts taking off his shirt.
And he takes the stick that Roger very
Generously gave to him.
and wraps his shirt around it,
And
takes
lights
out
it
his
on
lighter,
fire.
and scares the worms away.
Yep, and he easily gets out of the
And
hole.
easily gets out and starts running back.
And now we get Wormovision. Brought to you in Wormovision.
We get a
They couldn't slap the camera on the ground. It
No.
has to float a little bit off the ground.
So we get a, you know why, Will? Because those 70s cameras, too fucking big. They put a fucking wide angle lens on it to demonstrate worm vision, and it's just
And it's slowly going across the ground in in the sheriff's office.
He's in this jail cell.
Yep.
He took his hoe and fucked her.
I guess you could call him an incel.
How dare you? How fucking dare you? Jesus Christ. No comment.
So he's laying next to this girl, and she's like, "Stop it!"
Yeah.
He's like, babe, I'm not doing
He
anything.
he says like some dumb comment about like I have the key,
Yeah.
and then she's just like, stop that, and he's like, I'm not doing
He's like,
anything.
stop what?
And then she just like gets more serious, like, stop it, because we see previously like the fucking the worm mound approaching them,
Mm-hmm.
and then
And
he's
then
like, I'm not doing anything,
and then she starts screaming, and then you see all these worms all over the place,
like falling out of the ceiling,
coming out of the sink.
everywhere.
And then we get a scene of Quigley's, and everyone's sleeping on the bar for
Everyone
some
drank
reason.
so much.
They're all sleeping on the bar.
And then we get the Wormo vision of all of them. And then what happens?
So they,
Someone sees something
so
or
they,
hears something.
so the guy, remember the couple at the end, they see something, and then the guy falls off the stool while grabbing the girl and like.
So first what he does is he takes a candle and like looks over and sees the big like mountain of worms coming at them. And then everyone screams, and the guy like grabs the woman, and
I
they
love how
both
he grabs his like girlfriend and like just pulls her into the worms.
he grabs her, and they both just like fall face first,
And then one of the girls gets on the bar and starts screaming, and then end scene.
and that's it.
And then they're back at home, and the girl is like there, and she gets attacked by worms, and she starts running upstairs.
And there's worms
And
everywhere.
we see like the oh no, sorry, no.
We see
Wait,
the mom.
we
losing
see
it.
worms everywhere, and then the grounds creeper worm face comes in and attacks her.
He just grabs her.
And he's like, oh yeah, and he takes her upstairs.
Well, we don't see where he takes her yet, but
Yeah.
we also see the mom losing it some more, and then
And there's like worms
she
everywhere.
finally finishes her knitting, and she's like, I'm finally done. I can give this to so and
Oh,
so.
too bad she's allergic to wool.
And then we see like that there's just worms everywhere.
Like coming out of the ceiling, like all over the place.
The guy, our hero, makes it to the house. He sees there's just like fucking worms again everywhere. He walks in, sees the mom.
And she's covered in worms.
She's just covered in them, and
then
that's it.
And then he takes a candle and he parts the sea of worms
yeah.
to get to the staircase.
So you see like him moving the candle, and then like the giant worm mound, just like
He goes,
Moses.
yeah, Moses
Moses in the Red Sea.
He parts the sea of worms.
So he can get upstairs.
He goes upstairs, and then
We get like it's. I'll give him credit. It's pretty atmospheric because it's just completely dark. The only light is coming from his candle, and it's just him going room to room.
This is arguably one of the only parts I liked about this film. That and the tree. I like the tree part.
Yeah, and like
Anything with the worms was good. Like the worms was good. I'll get to my final thoughts later. Let's get through the rest. We're almost done. So.
But he goes room to room, and it's like super dark, and like, you get like this fucking like this weird like I don't even that music. It's like a kid like lullaby.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like a kid singing a lullaby or some shit, and then he like, but they ruin it. They fucking ruin it because he looks in every room, and then there's the attic. And he starts going up the attic, and then the fucking worm face just shows up like, ooga booga!
And then like jumps down, and they start like tossing.
They have a tussle.
And they go to the staircase, and they start like having a power struggle.
And then he tosses Worm Boy into the worms. And he gets like consumed.
And I was like, I thought the worms accepted him. What the hell?
He like falls in and just like screams and gets consumed, and we're like, okay. But then...
So then... our hero goes up to the attic, finds the girl,
frees her,
and is like, "All your mom and your sister are dead. We gotta get out of here."
At first, she's like, "What happened to them?" And he's like, "There's no time. There's no time." And he's like, not telling her, and then he just tells her they're all dead, and she freaks out. And then we see like intermittent shots of like Worm Boy rising up out of the worms,
and then he like starts like squirming his way up the
slithering
stairs.
up the stairs, and
like
then
a worm.
Our hero and the girl are like going out the window, and they're climbing onto this tree branch. And as the guy is getting out of the window, the worm vision comes up to him.
And then like you see
Worm Boy.
You see Worm Boy. He starts biting the guy's like leg,
his thigh.
And I love this part because the guy like beats him off. But I love
beats him off.
Whoops.
That would make
like.
Will. Will, if the movie,
Sorry.
if
Holy
the
shit. Oh my god.
if the movie ended,
It just becomes a porno. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat this worm guy off.
if the movie ended with our hero beating off the villain,
Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that.
I'm not joking. If it
10 out
ended,
of 10.
if it ended with him beating him off, it would be more interesting.
Then what actually happened?
It might actually be a better, more coherent ending than what we actually got.
Okay, so
If he wins by beating off the villain, that's all he ever needed. He just needed someone to beat him off, and then
he was so sexually pent up.
and then
He needed a release.
and then when he gets a release, the worms retract.
And they're like, ah.
Because the worms, Will, are a metaphor for male lust. That would be more interesting than what we actually got. What actually happens is
He starts beating him with a flashlight, but I love it because he puts his hand on the guy's head and then starts beating his hand as to not like hurt the actor.
But see,
It's
Will.
the most limp dick thing I've ever seen.
But see, Will. Either you film when you're filming this, you raise your camera up like an
So you
inch,
can't see the head.
so you can't see that he's just smacking his own hand, or you just film him pretend hitting his fucking head.
Pull your punches.
But no,
No, he puts his hand on the guy's head and starts beating his hand.
and then we don't see what happens to the worm boy.
And they get on the branch and it kind of swoops down like it's gonna break.
So you think like, oh shit, is there gonna be like a suspenseful scene of like the worms like trying to push the tree down?
Nope.
Here's what happens. They get on the tree, it cracks down, it just fades to daylight.
Yeah. And then we get an electrician coming and he's like, I fixed the power lines for you so they won't be like bothering me
Everything's
anymore."
good. And then there's no worms. And then we see like the house, and we see it going into the rooms, and then it goes to the trunk, and it opens up, and I'm like, oh no, is it Worm Boy? Nope.
Nope, sister's alive.
Sister's alive. Everyone's happy. We get a big old fade out shot of the house,
And then, and then it pans to a dirt field.
the
Roll
end.
credits. Fuck.
They got us again.
What a limp ending. Holy shit.
I'm not
You're
joking.
telling me he fucking defeated Worm Boy with a fucking flashlight by beating his hand on the guy's head?
We didn't even see it. We didn't even like see a body or like what happened to him. It just he beat him and that's it. And then they get on a tree and
Why even do the thing where it like is going to like break off?
because that's what happens in movies, Will.
But now like presumably the whole town is dead.
Yes.
So what the fuck?
The end.
That's the end we got?
That's the ending.
It didn't even show the town?
No.
It couldn't show like people decaying in the town?
No.
Like, hey, this grisly thing happened, but at least the heroes... I use hero
No.
the hero term lightly in this case.
You know what you get, Will? Not a goddamn thing.
No. You get this fucking limp dick ending. Dude, I don't know, like, I know you like certain elements in this movie, but, like, I don't think the bad far outweighs the good.
I don't think it far outweighs it, but that ending just like
It left a sour taste in my mouth.
all that like build up
Led up to that.
and just
Well, like, I really didn't like the main guy. I thought he was a terrible actor. Obviously, because, I mean, you know, he is, but...
is he though? Is it the acting or is it the fact that it's like a chocolate? It's a lunchette.
He's just, I don't know, like, the character is not very likable.
It's a Goomba.
He's like,
You know what
he's
it
just
is?
kind of annoying,
It's a meme.
and he's just a dweeb. He's an annoying dweeb
It's a meme.
that, like, stumbles his way through the movie, and then he
But Will, he defeated.
Worm Boy,
Yes, and he saved people.
not by beating him off like a.
I wish
Um,
that would be a more exciting ending.
I don't know. I thought every part with the worms was great.
Yeah,
Okay, like,
but then
I really admit that, but like everything else did not make up for that. Like
Choices.
everything else was just like it was kind of like just loosely strung together, and like just like this vague things happen kind of attitude, and then the worm stuff is like, okay, this is where they actually shined, and then like they're just like, nah, fuck that, we're gonna do like maybe like 20% worms and 80% this loosely strung together detective story about this random ass guy going and like getting a skeleton examined at a dentist's office, and then like it goes absolutely nowhere, and then the worms attack. It's like, why did you even need that? How about just do the cliche thing and have like maybe a seismologist or like someone who studies worms coming in.
No, Will.
And doing like do the cliche plot.
No, we had to be quirky.
Why? It didn't work.
Because
Just do the cliche thing, like a guy like you have an expert that's studying worms,
No.
and like he comes in and it's like, why are these worms acting so weird?
No, Will.
And then like it's all about the worms because that's exactly what the movie's supposed to be about.
No,
but no,
Will.
it's this investigation about a fucking body that goes nowhere.
No, Will, because
It's
that's
fucking bullshit.
because we had to be quirky. Because we couldn't do a coherent plot.
Can't be quirky, but have a guy that is actually pertains to the actual like what you want to do in this movie with
does.
which is worms.
He does. He goes and looks at an X-ray and parts a sea of worms.
It's not effective. It's not.
Oh no.
It's not a good way to make a film. Be
It's-
quirky.
it's a
but,
way.
But why don't you make a plot that actually has to do with your subject matter?
Because that is just not quirky enough for them and their fucking lunchettes
Yes, and egg
and
creams.
their egg creams and their I'm a Libra and
I'm not a tourist. I'm a Libra.
and their fucking their sister smoking a joint and
That's just like that's my final thought. Like, be more coherent.
it's mostly coherent. It's just
It's just dumb. Like their decisions are dumb.
it's not incoherent except for that fucking whole like segue about Roger taking a skeleton, which
But that's where it all leads up to. So like
Does it?
they couldn't even do that right
it doesn't lead up to that though. They just forget that because that just happens
because a tree
and a tree falls in, and then that entire thing is just like thrown away. Like,
But
bye.
yeah, but that's like a big chunk of the movie that they're spent investigating the skeleton.
Well,
So I don't get it.
to be fair, they were investigating if I was under the impression, as I'm sure anybody who watches this movie is the worms ate the dude, and he wanted to find out who ate the dude, or who the dude is,
I get that.
and then that happens. But then out of nowhere, they just throw this whole thing at you about like, what's in the shed? Oh, I don't want to know what's in the shed. Roger took the body, and then they did the thing, and you're just like, what?
But again, it's just so loosely strung together that I just found it more annoying than anything else.
Nah, it's not loose. It's just like
I thought it was.
no. It's so
Dude, I
basic.
can have my opinions, okay?
No.
Yes.
It's too basic to be loose.
It's just I
The
think
only
it is.
the only looseness is that like they I don't know if I'd call it overwritten, but like each scene is like super basic,
Well,
but
I mean,
they make it like so like
call it whatever you want. I found it annoying. I don't care. Like
it's something.
I don't care what you say. Like it's annoying to me.
No. It's annoying, but it's not loosely. It's just like they want it to seem more original than it is.
I
Or
don't
more
know.
quirky.
It doesn't
Because
matter.
like it's just essentially the whole movie is just people go here, they get this thing, they go here, they get thing, and it's like you could have just made a simple movie, but they insisted, no, we can't do that. We have to have it be weird,
Be quirky.
So normally, like the bar scene. You go to the bartender, you ask him, "Hey, have you seen this guy?" No. Bye. But no, Will. Instead, they go to the fucking bartender, and he's like, "I haven't seen him, but
I have this.
I have this thing," and then that's a whole 2 minutes of that,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't know. You know what it is? It's desperation.
Yeah.
It's desperation.
I will agree with that.
It's sheer desperation, and I don't know. Just do better.
Well, I mean, it is on this podcast, so they couldn't.
They could have though.
No, I don't think they could have.
We watched Bug.
Yeah, it's true.
They could have done better.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
At the very least, the ending.
It just kind of wasted potential.
Like the ending is just like, why? I don't know.
Because they almost made worms creepy. I mean, they're already like creepy and squirmy and like, like they're disgusting.
Yeah.
But like they could have made it scary. They just didn't.
Because we had to have an ending where he smacks his own hand, and then they get on a tree, and they make you think it's gonna fall, and then it just cuts to daytime.
All right, I'll agree with you. Not loosely, but just stupid.
Stupidly.
Yeah, stupidly. Maybe that's what I meant by loosely. All right, so we should do shitty to pretty. One to 10. I got mine.
I didn't want to. I didn't fucking think I'd rate this thing lower than Grizzly.
I wanted to. I mean, I wanted to rate it. I wanted to rate it higher than Grizzly.
And there's parts of it that I like more than Grizzly, but overall, 4 out of 10.
Me too.
Just
4.
Just
do better.
You could have. You really could have.
But you didn't.
You didn't. You had that thing. You had the worms. You had the elements.
And you didn't do it.
And you just couldn't commit.
All those worms, and it didn't save the movie.
You know what? If they just fucking ended the movie with them getting on a fucking tree, and then the worms like slowly knocking it down or devouring the tree, like, and then killing them,
that would have been fine.
I'd be fine with that. I'd maybe give it a 5 out of generosity, but no, we couldn't do it.
We got dirt.
You know what? Symbolic.
Yep.
The movie is dirt.
If you want to watch this dirt.
I thought they were gonna do something, by the way. When they start like panning over, I was
you thought like worms are gonna start crawling
out
of
the
the ground or something?
Here's what I thought, because they started panning to the dirt, right? I thought like we were gonna see like the guy like rising up.
Oh yeah.
Even that
would have been better. Would have saved it at least a little bit.
It would have like something. Just a little bit. Just some extra effort.
Something.
Effort, you know?
What is that?
That's what it feels like. You know what it feels like? It feels like they did all this, and then like the ending came along, and they were just like, fuck it. Fuck it. Whatever.
Let's just end it. I don't know how to end it. Let's just do it.
It's like they wrote it, and then they're just like, I don't know.
All right, 3 main protagonists are fine. Let's just do that.
I'm almost convinced that they wrote it to have the sister dead, or that was going to be the plan, and then they just decided to throw that in as like a thing. It's like, okay, a guy's going to show up and be like, the power's fine. Oh, that's not enough. We need one more thing.
Sister gets out of the steamer trunk. Got him.
You fucking genius. Best movie ever.
Yep. Magnum opus.
I'm surprised they didn't find a way to get the mom back.
I know.
As a final fuck you.
She just stands up out of her chair with her knitting blanket.
With her completed blanket?
Yeah, because she guarded herself from the worms with her knitting powers.
The worms are allergic to knitting.
Wool. Yep. That would have been the ultimate. Like, that would have made me give it a 3.
Yeah, I would have downgraded it for that much. That's too insulting.
Yeah.
If
you want to watch it, It's on Amazon Prime. It's actually a pretty good, like,
Good quality.
good quality, which is weird.
I mean, hey, one of you might like it.
Some people do.
I saw people giving it like good reviews, saying it's underrated and it's charming. I mean, I guess if okay,
I don't
here's the thing.
agree with that, but
Let's just say this: there are choices made in this movie, and if you're the kind of person who these choices appeal to, then yeah, you'll get a big old fucking boner for this movie. But for the rest of us,
no.
nah.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah. Hey, if Goofy like attempts a comedy that don't work, and
Are your thing? This is your movie.
and like a fucking weird like fucking goofball protagonist, and just some really 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 awkward attempts at humor are your thing. If that's what you want to see in your fucking creature features,
Go watch this movie.
they guess what? Someone made a movie just for you.
Yep, pertaining only to you.
For the rest of us, though,
Nah.
try harder.
Yeah.
Sorry. All those worms wasted.
Yep.
You couldn't even beat Grizzly.
In a week, we go live.
We go live.
We going live. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We will do it live again.
Again, live
And
stream
again.
next Sunday, the 31st, end of the month. Yeah, we waited a whole month for this one.
It's fine. Look, shit happens, okay? You don't fucking... We have things to do.
Yes.
Like we have other things.
We have our sanity to regain.
We have, like, things we do outside of watching Squirm. Okay?
Or arguing about whether it's loose or not, right? We have things.
We have things other than watching a fucking hour-and-a-half long movie about some goofball who parts a fucking sea of worms.
Yes.
That,
But please join us for the live stream.
please.
Come chat with us. Ask questions if you want. Make fun of us even if you want to. Berate us. I might block you, but whatever.
I'll have some things to talk about there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Because,
We got some
I'll fucking...
special things to talk about.
Let's just say
Oh
that,
boy.
let's just say that if one of you likes the movie Psycho from Texas, you'll probably want to unsubscribe.
Which is fine.
I mean, I want you to.
Yeah.
I'm not even, like, go fuck off. Die in a hole.
We'll get to that.
We'll get
on the
to
live
that.
stream. Yeah, all that and
other things.
our fabulous story about our audio.
We got stories.
We got a lot to talk about.
We got many stories.
So please join us, be there, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell so you know exactly when we go live.
It'll be around noon, Mountain Time.
It's always around noon.
Around.
It's never at noon.
We have to like mentally
We have to
and
prepare
physically
for it. Yeah,
prepare ourselves.
I do.
Do
Yeah.
a couple push-ups.
I have to.
Get pumped.
Unlike our main protagonist of this film didn't beat off the main person, I have to, maybe relieve myself before we do this.
Beat yourself
Yeah.
off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what you do. Okay. I gotcha. You can't. You have to do it before because if you try to do it after, you just
It doesn't work.
it'll just deflate.
Yeah.
Because you'll remember.
Exactly. I remember all the games we play, and I'm just like, I'm not into it anymore.
God, I can't do it.
I can't do it. I get ED after every live stream.
It's not the alcohol. It's the games.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not whiskey dick. It's bad game dick.
Exactly. ED. Bad games give you ED.
It's true. Okay. Tell your doctor.
Is that it? We all good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you have something else to say about worms.
No, just that I'm sorry that I argued.
It's okay, Will.
Okay, thanks.
It's look, it's Squirm.
It just made me. The main character, for some reason, really got to me and made me angry.
Is it because did it remind you too much of Death Machines?
A little bit, yeah.
But see, whereas in Death Machines, the main protagonist did Nothing. In
Did
this, he did
He did some.
a little.
Yeah, a little. Not very much, but a little.
He kind of pushed Worm Guy over the thing, and then beat him off. Listen, if he beat him off, he'd be your favorite protagonist.
Yeah, it would be.
If that was the ending, if he was just like, I gotta do it.
Zip.
It's gotta be done. Sorry, sweetie. You'd just be like, oh my god, greatest character ever! Ever! You stop beating off now.
All right. As always, for the Mostly Coming at Night, this has been Will.
Oh, this has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye. I'm not a tourist. I'm a Libra.